what's up, guys? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Is It Wrong Podcast with your host, me, Rey Parra. Make sure to hit the like button, make sure to subscribe and share. Add all your comments. We love the comments. Every time we have a special guest, there's different comments. We have a conversation. We have a great time, guys. Remember to get our merch. We got some cool t-shirts, some cool mechanic shirts, some hats, some buttons, some mugs, all kinds of real good stuff. But just stay tuned for today's guest. It's going to be a great one.
What you want it to be, I'm at a cage to the point I don't know what it should be. I feel so angry lately. All I wanna do is bury myself.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Is It Wrong Podcast. Today my special guest is Mick Blankenship. You might know him. He's a recording artist, a guitar player, a drummer, a vocalist, and the man is just incredible. Mick, how you doing, brother?
Well, thank you. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, man.
Hey, dude, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to have you on. It was fun meeting you at Immortal Fest.
Yeah, man. We ended up doing a show together.
Yeah, man. And honestly, I had never even heard of you guys. And so after we did that show and we were talking and hanging out a little bit, we're in the back and I'm like, hey, how'd you like to be on my podcast? You're like, yeah, let's do it. So I left there and I started looking you up. I'm like, what is this dude all about? Right. So I started checking out your videos and I heard you guys while you were playing live over there at the fest. It wasn't Immortal Fest. It was we were both playing with Pillar. You know, yeah, but that was really good. But dude, I was really impressed with you guys, man. I listened to a lot of your videos and I was like, wow, man, great stuff, man. Great stuff. So naturally, as I'm watching some of your videos, I'm going, wow, I like his style. I like this. I like that. Then I realized you have like a freaking video from almost every song probably, don't you? Oh, you have a crap load of videos.
I have a lot of videos. I wish not every one because it gets really expensive, as you know. But yeah, I mean, I have at least, if nothing else, I'll try to have a lyric video for every song. Yeah.
Yeah. You find that important?
You know, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, you spend the money and you hope people watch it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It all depends on, you know, whoever you got marketing your stuff to. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's hard, man. No matter what we do, unless you're one of those just natural phenomena that just happens, you know, you post a video and you get millions of views. My nephew, he's a truck driver, and he was kind of big, and he just said, you know what, I'm gonna lose weight. So he got on this rowing machine. Then he started doing either TikTok or Instagram of his little journey on his rowing machine. Before you knew it, he had 1 million, 2 million, 3 million views. And then he had the people who made these machines call him and sponsor him for a machine. I was like, what? You know, he wasn't, and here I'm trying to get views and views and views, and you know. I
haven't gotten a call from Paul Reed Smith or DW Drums yet wanting to sponsor me. But hey, man.
You never know, right? You never know, man. Hey, let's talk about your debut album, Crown of Apathy.
Yeah, man.
That's on Cavern Records, right? I never heard of that album or that label.
No, it's no label. I'm independent. That's what the record looks like right there.
Right.
I did this by myself.
Really?
In my studio. So I recorded every instrument, everything by myself.
Come on, man. You that guy?
Yeah, well, the thing of it is I don't say that to brag or anything like that. I say that because I live in this weird spot geographically, man. There's a lot of people doing what I'm doing. It's not that there's not a lot of talent, because it's just not true, but it's just
right.
I was heading down this road and I couldn't find other people. I don't play well with others, I guess, man. I had this vision of all this music and stuff, and I just got tired of trying to be in a band. So I started writing music. But funny enough, man, I mean, all jokes aside, music, that record was a bit of therapy for me because, I was diagnosed with PTSD in 2015 and ended up having to leave a 12-year-long career as a police officer. And I thought, long story short, I probably should have went on disability given all the circumstances, but I chose not to be on disability, and I chose to work on my mental health without medication and doctors and all that stuff. And I use music, man, to get back to a balance.
Yeah. Now that PTSD, are you a veteran, or was that from being on the police force?
Well, it was a good part of it was from being a police officer. No, I was not in the military, but I had some trauma that stemmed from my childhood as well. That's where it all kind of started, but it was definitely exacerbated by law enforcement. And, in my time in law enforcement, I've seen so many police officers who self-medicate and they deal with it in their own way, whether it's drinking alcohol or taking pills, or there's many, many ways to deal with it, right? We all know that. And but so many of them did, and I was wow, and most of them, I would say, for the argument's sake, most of them drank themselves to death on themselves because super, I mean, I don't have to tell you, that's a super, super high stress job. And
yeah, man. Yeah.
Our culture is not very accepting of it much these days, and it's only getting worse.
You and I were talking a minute ago about not getting political, but that's very political. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. People are getting defund the police and all. That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Well, you're allowed to feel how you feel. That's for sure, man. But the idea of defunding the police, it doesn't even register in my brain.
Right. Right.
And they'll teach you, how to be a cop, but they don't teach you how to not be a cop when you're done. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So for me, I had to deal with some addiction issues to prescribed medication because of the anxiety and the depression and stuff I was going through. And honestly, man, it just got to be too much, and I lost the heart for it. And I found myself more focused on just trying to hold myself together, emotionally and spiritually and even physically at one point. I was not very healthy. And I found myself focusing so much on just trying to keep my eggs in the basket, that I just, somewhere along the lines, I just lost the heart. And I just, I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there anymore. And, I wanted out. And to get out you don't just quit. You don't just here's my badge. I quit, I'm done. And you just walk away and things are fine. And you just go get a job at Lowe's. That's not how it works, man. It's the mentality, year after year after year of playing scenarios over in your mind of how you're going to protect yourself. And you're always in that defense mode. And that's why all cops are a-holes, that's sure. Attitude, because most cops are all the time, and it's a defense mechanism because they're all human beings, whether they're good cops or bad cops or somewhere in between. It doesn't matter. We're all men, right?
Right.
And we're only capable of processing so much, right? And for me, it just, like I said, it exacerbated some previous trauma I had from my childhood and some of my teen years and stuff like that. And it just got to be too much, man. So, I went to ask for help. And when I asked for help, I was basically told, here, take these pills. These are going to make you everything all better. And by golly, they did. They were wonderful.
I'm sure.
So, man, I don't want to get too far into detail, but basically, man, one day I arrested someone for doing the exact same thing I was doing. And it broke me. It broke me. And it was my job, right? I was taking them as a prescription legally, right? But this person had them illegally, but they were taking them for the same reasons, man. And I'm like, I just had a problem with that up here, and in my heart, and I decided that this isn't right, And I started the process of getting off of that stuff and just getting out of law enforcement altogether, man. And that was hell, bro. I don't know if you've ever addicted to something, but wow.
Withdrawal. Yeah. So, we'll get into that here in a second, but I just want to roll back a little bit to the thing, this kind of off the cuff, but where you said that, all cops are a-holes and all cops are, but if you put yourself in a perspective with that particular, it's got nothing to do with music, right? But if you think about it, cops are edgy. And why is it? Because we put them on edge. You know what I'm saying? They're afraid. Is this guy going to shoot me? He's going to spit at me. My son-in-law was a state trooper for a while. He got out of it. Same reason.
Mm-hmm. And then the thought in the back of your mind is, well, if I do have to do something, I do have to defend myself or whatever and take action, God forbid, have to take somebody's life. What's going to happen to me? Are they going to hang me out to dry? Are they going to back me up? It's terrifying, man. It's
fight or flight, baby.
Super high stress.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that all that put together brought you into writing the first record.
Right. And you can hear a lot of what I'm telling you on this record.
Yeah.
You listen to the music. I'm telling you all about it and what I've been through. Flashback Crash. It's about having flashbacks, PTSD flashbacks, man.
Numbness rules, disconnect, powerless, I'm obsessed, I can't breathe, endlessly, can't control, I'm not free, hide my eyes so you can't see me weep.
Transcend the machine, rise above, and get above what, you're programmed to do. And,
right.
Crown of Apathy talks about my depression and my struggle of apathy.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people think, well, being depressed is, well, what are you sad about? And it's just like, but I'm not sad at all, man. It has nothing to do with being sad. You don't, no matter how bad you want to care, you just don't. And that is the worst feeling, man. But Worthless Me, I covered that song that Jeff Tate wrote called Someone Else because it had everything to do with reflecting on where I've been, man. And,
yeah, man.
Again, the song If You Died Today.
Looking down from heaven now at a world that seems so small. There's no one left. Chaos consumes us all. All the wasted years that passed, there was a chance to last.
And it talks about, it doesn't really matter in the end, what's important in life and things like that. So all of that is portrayed.
So for you, that whole album pretty much was therapy for you.
Yes. Because
it was your release verbally of what you were feeling on the inside.
Correct.
Kind of letting people know, I'm going through this stuff and I'm dealing with it in ways that I'm not proud of, but my release from that, when you stepped down from the force and you started doing the music, that was kind of your moment, right?
Right.
That's pretty intense, bro.
Well, there was zero intention on becoming an artist. That's not what my intention. My intentions were to write the music and become a better musician and things like that. Doing the live shows and becoming, the artist Mick Blankenship came later. You know what I mean? Right. And that's what's crazy. I never intended to be on the radio. I never intended to be, touring or anything like that. I mean,
yeah,
it's just crazy how it happened.
I was reading up on you. You've done a lot of stuff, bro. And here's the crazy thing. You don't even have a band, right? You have hired guns. You do have a band?
Well, okay. So I have shuffled around and I've had hired players, for a long time.
Right.
Now I have guys that are permanent and they're locked in and as much as they can be away from their family and everything. But I've got 3 of the best guys a guy can ask for, man. It's really, really nice to finally have the right people surrounding you. But
right.
To your statement, up until recently, no, I wasn't a band. I was just an artist who wrote music. And then I would literally go around and, hey man, will you play drums for me at this show? I will pay you money. Hey man, will you play bass for me? I will pay you money. And I spent a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Independent artists don't get paid much, man.
That's right. Yeah, man. But you know what? You were doing what you love, right? Or you are doing what you love.
Yes. That's what's
I hear, when I listen to some of your stuff, I hear a little Disturbed. I hear a little Seven Dust. I hear even a little Chris Cornell. You have that voice, man. You know what I'm saying? And
oh yeah, I love it, dude.
Dude, man, love it. I was, like I said, I was really impressed when I really started listening to your stuff, because when we did the show together, we're in the green room and y'all are playing, and I could hear you, but it's not like I'm totally focused on you with all these styles. That were that intentional for you to get these feels? That just you came up writing and said, you know what, this is what I'm feeling. All of a sudden, people are saying, he sounds like this, sounds like that, or
Well, no, funny enough, man. So it all kind of started with while I was still active law enforcement, the band Stone Temple Pilots was looking for a singer.
Come on.
And I did I don't know, 4 or 5 like covers and stuff, and stuck it up on YouTube trying to get everybody's attention. Right. Like they did all their auditions online. And so everyone submitted online, and I wanted to go above and beyond, man. And just, cause I really, really wanted that gig. Like,
oh yeah,
really wanted that gig. It's like, with everything in me, I wanted that gig at that time. And so I just did a bunch of, I think I did 4 or 5 of their most popular songs, right? Dead and Bloated and Plush and
oh man,
Cracker Man and things like that. And I stuck it up on YouTube. And so that, how everything has a domino effect. So
right.
The next thing I knew, people were calling me saying, hey man, they're talking about you on the radio. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Wow.
I didn't have any original music at this time.
When was this?
This was in, gosh, what would this been? Whatever year it was that they were looking for a singer. I want to say it was about 8 years ago, right?
Okay,
Something
yeah.
like that. It was a long time ago when they were holding auditions. So anyway, sure enough, there was a station here in Cincinnati called WEBN, and the DJ there was just hyping me up. And I guess we have a couple mutual friends, and I didn't know him that well. But he's like, have you ever heard of Mick Blankenship? He's auditioning for Stone Temple Pilots. Like, he was hyping it up, dude. I woke up one morning, man. I had my iPhone 6 way back then. I open up Facebook and I'm like, 3,000 friend requests. I'm like, what's happening right now? Like, they just would look like a phone book, and I'm just,
oh my gosh,
he was hyping me up. So I found out, because I listened, I actually tuned in to 102.7, and he was like, right before he would play a Stone Temple Pilot song, he's like, have you guys ever heard of Mick Blankenship? Well, he's auditioning, blah, blah, blah. Here's his version of Dead and Bloated. And he'd play 15 seconds of it. And then he would play the original. And so people were going crazy over that, dude.
That is sick.
It got blown up. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, what do I do? What's the best way to take this and run with it? Right.
Yeah.
So me and my buddy Scott, he's like, dude, I'm telling you, he's like, I tried to get you to do an STP tribute band before a long, long time ago. And I just kind of blew him off. Yeah. He's like, you need to do this. And I said, well, we'll do one show, right? We'll just do a show, and we'll call it Stone Temple Pilots Tribute Show featuring Mick Blankenship, and just see what happens. So we did this show at Bogart's in Cincinnati, and dude, it hit capacity.
Wow.
Like, they gave away a bunch of tickets, and they sold some tickets and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, I mean, it hit, the capacity is 1,450, I believe, there. So we hit capacity, right? And we all just were like, well, I guess, we better take advantage of this. And we started what's known as STP2, a tribute to Stone Temple Pilots. So we did the STP tribute band. And we come out of the gate with that show under our belt, man. Our very first show was, quote unquote, sold out. Right. So,
yeah.
So we started doing that. And then simultaneously, I started, the writing of the music and getting out of law enforcement. It all kind of happened with that same year.
Oh, yeah.
And, that year it was a huge, weird year for me. And then, so we started doing all these shows. And I was all of a sudden a front man of a tribute band, and we were just playing all over the United States. And
that's great.
We sold out some shows, man. We really did very well. But the hype associated with that, with my name, is what drove me into becoming an artist.
Oh, sure.
So, man, fast forward another year and a half, I think it was, on my birthday, no less, I got invited to a Breaking Benjamin concert at Riverbend by the drummer is a friend of mine. And he and I, he is the mutual friend between me and the radio DJ.
Mm.
So that's how all that came together. And so he invited me to the show, and he goes, just come back and hang out with us. It's us and Five Finger Death Punch and Disturbed. I'm like, that's freaking awesome. I love
Jeez, man.
And I love Five Finger Death Punch and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we go backstage and we're just chilling on his tour bus, and I'm just minding my own business, man, talking to the guys in Breaking Benjamin and hanging out and having a drink and stuff. And then all of a sudden this guy pops on the bus. He's like, hey man, anybody got a lime? And I'm like, he's like, I'm trying to make a Moscow Mule, which I guess that's a drink that requires a lime. So anyway, it happened to be John Moyer, the bass player.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Disturbed. And he goes, and he's like, he's making this drink on the bus, and he's like, what are we listening to? And then my buddy Sean's like, this is Mick Blankenship. This is his music, and this is called Worthless Me. And that's the song on my record, which didn't sound anything like this at first, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he goes, wow, that's really good. And he went on, and he was like, he showed a lot of interest in my music. And then he started telling me about how he's producing music. And I'm like, hey man, do you want to work with me? Like, would you produce my music? And yeah, exactly. How about this guy? And I don't want to say he blew me off, because he didn't really blow me off, but I don't think, just being, John in the band Disturbed, I'm sure he gets that a lot. Right?
Sure.
And he probably didn't think I was very serious, but I was persistent, man. Like, I was like, I followed up. I sent an email, and I followed up, and I sent an email, and I'm like, hey man, I want to do this. And he finally was like, all right, man, I believe you. Let's work together. We'll do one song and see how it goes. So the first song we worked on together was Transcend the Machine.
Think with your own mind, or stand on the sidelines. Tell me.
Wow.
And all of this ties together, because when we did that one song, that's what led into the rest of the record, obviously. But that was the very first single I released. And they played it on the radio in Cincinnati. And I was like, well, I better do a show, right?
Yeah.
So my very first show as Mick Blankenship, the artist, was at Bogart's. And I went back to Bogart's, where I hit capacity as a tribute band.
Yeah.
And then I blew it up, man. I took the momentum from all of that. And, John Moyer came to the show and did a guest appearance. He got on stage with me and rocked out. And
wow.
It was a great time, man. I sold about 600 tickets to that show. And I was like, holy smokes, man. Like, I could do this. Like, yeah. And that's when it hit me that I wanted to become an artist. And that's where the sickness began.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a sickness for sure.
It is, man. It's like chasing that dragon thing, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. And having John on stage with you had been incredible, too.
Oh, it was. Dude, the video's on YouTube. Go watch it when you get bored.
Oh, I'll watch it when we get done with this.
John Moyer at Bogart's, and it'll pop right up.
Yeah, cool, man. Cool. Let me see what's going to ask you here. And all your videos, you produce them yourself?
So no, I've done videos with multiple people, but most recently my last two videos, so Change of Season and Sands of Time. Are all done in-house, yes. And then
I love Sands of Time, bro.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so that's all done on green screen at my new studio. I have a video studio. That's my business that I run outside of this. And yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. It's challenging, but that was my first time ever doing a green screen video. So
really,
that was new.
So. Yeah. It's got to be cool because weird and cool. I've never done it like that, but it's got to be weird in the sense that in your mind, there's a green screen behind you, but physically, your performance-wise, you have to perform to what ultimately the elements are behind you that are really not there, right. and you got to be convincing.
Right. Well, what I found interesting about my first time doing a green screen video was what I thought was going to happen and what actually happened, because I'm like, okay, man, I want you to take me in this scene for this part of this course. I want to be standing on a blah, blah, blah inside of a, whatever. And we have that pictured in our mind. And then after the fact, it just didn't look right because of the lighting or because of the angle or whatever, right? And I believe it or not, I would say more than half of that video was almost by accident. Like just
really?
Yeah.
Wow. What about the Change of Seasons video? What was that shot?
So Change of Season was shot in the same building, but we did it completely different because... Well, the performance scene was shot in the same building, and it's basically our rehearsal space, but we just did low-level lighting and things like that. And then there's a scene in there with a woman that's being tied up in a chair and all that stuff. And that was in a warehouse about 5 miles away, this old, dingy, nasty, scary-looking, haunted, I don't know what you would call it, but it was this old, ugly warehouse. And I was like, this is perfect, And we just took very little lighting, man. And it was all about the performance and capturing it with the right light. You know what I mean? Right.
And as far as like the concepts you come up with the concepts or you guys collaborate?
So all the concepts are pretty much in my mind.
You got a sick mind, bro.
To portray them, to my video guy, who happens to be my bass player. I'm lucky. So,
yeah.
That's why I said it's all in-house. He does all the editing and stuff. That's Adam. And so... for that video Change of Season, and I told him, because like I gave him some leeway with Sands of Time because I wanted him to have some artistic creativity, but I'm like, nope, Change of Season, it's got to be like this, man. There's this scene and it's got to be, you know what I mean? It was very, very specific.
Yeah. That's really cool, man. No, I was just saying you have a sick mind if you're coming up with all this stuff.
Oh, I do. I was very, very angry when I wrote that song.
Dude, yeah, man. For you guys, if you haven't seen the video, watch it. Good video. Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, all them guitars on the wall. Have you been collecting them for a long time, or you just recently started getting those?
I've been collecting those for years and years and years and years.
That's awesome.
But I would say the most special one to me is actually over here. You can't even see it. It's in the corner. It's not even playable, but this is actually a Gretsch. What's left of it. Wow. So this is my very first guitar that my neighbor gave this to me when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
And I mean, at the time I thought I won the lottery, man. This thing was gorgeous, but it's been through hell and back. And the reason it looks like this is because when I was in high school, I was doing some extracurricular activities, and I decided I was going to sand on this thing with a palm sander at wood shop because I was just bored. And I found out I basically destroyed it, man. But so I took it to a buddy of mine who's a luthier, and I said, look, man, I just want to save it. And eventually make it playable again someday. But the neck the headstock got snapped off. The neck's been broken off a couple times. Like I beat it to death. But I still have it,
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Dude, I started out, I wish I would have kept some of this stuff. My first instrument I played was an accordion.
Nerds!
And then a violin. Wow. Yeah, then a violin, then a bass guitar, and then a rhythm guitar, and then vocals. And I still play guitar. I have some guitar still, but I wish I would have kept the accordion and all that. It's kind of cheesy.
That's definitely a dynamic right there.
Yeah, man. No, I don't see any accordions in metal, though. Do you?
Hey, man, what better time to get in? Get in where you fit in.
Yeah, no, thanks. I'll stay with what I'm doing. Hey, in your video, Doc Sorrows, you had real short hair. Was that like, did you shave your head off for that, or that's when you were just starting? You did, didn't you?
Broken wings. Imagine the fall one step from your dream. The walls are digging at my door, the shadows crawling on the wall, so high.
So,
Bro,
you
takes
know,
a lot of guts to do that.
Right after there, I stopped cutting my hair after that. That was in 2019, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or 2020. I can't remember now. I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah. Yeah. And then from there, you just let it grow. Go.
Yeah. I don't want to look like the police anymore.
You ought to grow you one of them big old hairy beards. Nah. I keep telling my wife that I keep telling her, see, I'm letting this thing grow. I went from just barely having it like that to now it's getting kind of long. And
got the old flavor saver.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Some pizza on there, you know, for later. But I started doing this thing here, and then my wife's like, I think you missed a couple spots with your razor.
Dude, that's hard when your wife claps at you, you know, like,
bro. And then she goes, and I noticed that tail is getting really long. I said, well, just so you know, it's going to get like to here. But I went ahead and shaved these things off for her. You know, I don't know. I don't like that spot anyways. Wives
will let you know how it goes, man.
Yeah, but dude, I don't tell her how to do her hair or her nails or her makeup, right?
No.
That is taboo. You do that, it's like bam over the head with the iron.
Right. Oh man.
Wives have a way of telling you something they don't like without actually saying it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Hey man, we both get to have our toys in our room, so you know.
Heck yeah, bro. Right. Heck yeah. I actually have this studio, which I do my podcast, and I actually track my vocals in here. Got my little mic.
Oh yeah, me too, man. I got my SM7B right here.
Oh yeah, there you go. So you sing on the SM7B, or you do you're just talking?
Both. Yeah, I tracked my whole Madness in the Shadows was tracked on this mic.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I ought to try that. I use the Rode NT1 in here, you know. I mean, I think it sounds good, you know.
Yeah, the guy I have mix and master my stuff is he's the best at what he does for me, man. Like I've had over the years, I've had so many people, you know, I've sent my music out to other engineers and had them mix it. It's not that it was bad. It just wasn't for me. Right. And like, I finally found that guy that just nails it every time for me, man. And he's going to do my music until he can't anymore. So
that's awesome. That is awesome. And he just does your mixing, right? You do your own tracking on everything.
Right. It's all edited and everything. By the time he gets it, all he does is mix it. And then I was having another guy, a very, very well-known guy, master it over at Sterling Audio, Ted Jensen. He's just the best of the best of the best.
Wow.
Like everybody knows who that guy is. And it's not that I have any reason other than it's financially makes more sense just to have my mix guy do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he can get it really, really close too.
Yeah.
And he's done a great job.
Yeah, that's important.
And if people don't know, it's another $300-$400 to master a song on top of what you already spent.
Oh yeah, that's all you're paying. You're lucky, man. We're gonna stop right there.
Right? You guys get paid?
Yeah, exactly, man. Dude, so it's kind of weird because like you know, nowadays with computers, you can track the drums, you can make all these guitar tones and bass tones and everything. And whereas back in the old day when I was in the studio, you know, you got a budget, you go in the studio, you lock out some time. Now you just go, you hit record on your computer, record for a little while. And I ask a lot of people this question because I always want to know where people's mind is on this. How do you think that computers, and not necessarily AI, although that's coming heavy into the picture, how do you feel that's shaping the way writing is going on today? I heard something recently that there was a band that got signed to a label because they turned in a song and visually they were performing it, and they got signed to this label, and the label announced them and everything. And then they said, it was like a week later, they said, hey, we're renouncing this band. We're not going to sign them because that's not even them. it's all AI generated. And I'm going, oh my gosh, how do you expect to do that crap live? You know, how do you feel that? No, go ahead. What do you think on that?
Expect some of that for sure, man. But I think it's my opinion. Here we go. My opinion. It's easier now more than ever to be an artist and create and record and track, and you have so many tools at your disposal now, right? And anyone could put out a record now. You don't need a record label anymore for anything other than money.
Right.
Which it's kind of twofold, man. Number one, like myself, I became my own label last year, and I literally distribute and publish, and I do all of that in-house, every bit of it.
That's good.
I also do my own publicity. I also, self-managed, self-booked, all that stuff. I literally do everything. And I just, I hire individual, people to do specific things, but, I manage it all. And so, yeah, it's definitely easier to you have all these tools at your disposal, but it's harder than ever to be seen and heard now because everybody and their brothers, baby sisters, cousins, best friends, mailman has a record out, right? And it doesn't even have to be good to monetize it.
Oh, and
now we've got platforms like Instagram and TikTok that people become rich off of just doing sound bites.
Let's talk about that.
Sure.
A little bit. Well, we were talking about pre-recording tonight.
Dude, here's where I saw the beginning of the end, and that's just a metaphor of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
There was a person who was singing and lip syncing to an artist's song. And if I ain't mistaken, I think it was a Stevie Nicks song. I could be wrong. But I remember reading this article where the little girl that was lip syncing to the song made more money on TikTok that year than Stevie Nicks made from the song.
Unbelievable.
And it's like, wait a minute, something's upside down. Whoever the artist was, I think it was her song, but I was like, wait a minute, how does, and this young lady is all of a sudden an influencer, right? And that's such a yucky word anymore. And what does it even mean anymore? And, I was always that guy saying, TikTok famous is not famous, but it is, and it's just a different kind of famous. And so
about the Benjamins.
Right. However, it's usually short-lived, and you can't retire from a TikTok video. So it's just weird, man. It's a weird set of circumstances to be in 2024, especially, as a rock artist, a hard rock artist. And, I put my entire life on hold. Like basically, when it came to music in my life, I hit the pause button at about 21 years old when I met my wife and my stepson. And I decided to just, do the right thing, be a stepfather, be a husband, go get a real job. And, I literally just paused my music career. And then when he graduated, and he even ended up going into the NFL, very successful, and he's doing very well in life. I have 3 grandchildren now, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, man. And I'm like, I told my wife, I'm like, I'm still young enough. I'm not young, but I'm young enough. I think I can still do this. And so that was another big part of the reason I walked away from corporate America to just do music full time. And a lot of people don't know that about me, but you do now. I mean, So I unpaused it, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's not 2001 anymore.
Yeah.
I got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
Rock music is not even cool anymore.
Dude, it's sad. And it's something that you said that makes me think about it is you can get Instagram or TikTok famous, like you said, or whatever, right? And you make all your millions, and you have that your 15 minutes of fame. Okay, you get rich out of it. Okay, whatever. I've been playing music for years, man. Now I've never gotten rich off of it, but man, there's something about being on stage and performing, right? Stuff that you've written, real songs, not just in front of a computer, which, like you said, people make great money on it. I'm happy for them. I wish I could do it. I can't. But there's something about you sitting back and stuff you've written 30, 40 years ago that people are still hitting you up or coming to your shows and going, dude, I wore that record out. I love that song. I love this. That to me is a lot more rewarding than the money. Of course, the money's great. Don't get me wrong. I would love the money. If you want to donate, I'll take it. But to me, people, dude, Chris Jericho told me that he's been listening to Sacred Warrior since he was 17 years old. Howard Jones, Kill Switch. I met both of them at 2 shows, and they both said, dude, I got all your records. I've been listening to you since I was a kid. And Howard even said that he felt kind of girlish with me, you know, and I'm like, dude, I'm creeping out on you, you know, it's like a mutual respect. But are they going to say the same thing to somebody who did a little TikTok song that's not even their song? And no, it's not going to happen. So when you do this from the beginning, you build relationships.
Sure.
And with Warrior, it goes even beyond that. It goes, because we're a ministry band, it goes beyond just the music. Art for us, it's to seeing people's lives change. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that any amount of money could replace the emails and the phone calls and the messages that I've got from people that said, dude, I got saved at a Warrior concert. I'm a pastor now, or this or that, or I love your music. And I wore it out. There's just nothing that can replace that.
Nothing compares to you.
You know, so I mean,
something that's bigger than yourself, man. And
bro, yeah.
You know, I've been working on my end of things, building this brand, and you know, I have a catalog of 30 songs now, and that's pretty respectable for one guy. And you know, and I you know, I get my 2 feet in, you know, some foundation, something to stand on. And now I got, you know, 3 guys in my band that really believe in me just as much, and you know, and their wives, and you know, and all these people that are starting to believe in this whole thing, man. And so it's happening. I mean, it's slow as molasses right now. I'm not on tour like I want to be, but like, it's a, you know, but there's something to be said about all that, because it's not about how much further I've got to go. It's how far I've come, you know, and how many people would love to be doing what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, well, you can, but it takes years and years of work. You know?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And with everything that's going on in this world today, people getting woke and getting cut off for saying this and doing this. And do you ever find a challenge in writing? Like for me, for example, if I want to write about a black cat wearing a yellow suit, I'm going to do it. I don't give a crap what anybody says.
Yeah.
You know, you stay motivated based on what your moral standards are and what you believe. But I know there's a lot of people who are afraid to say and do things because of everything that's going down. Does that affect you at all? Or are you like, I'm just doing what I'm doing, man?
I had thoughts about it for a little while, and I thought, well, man, you know, what if I cover this song? Well, like, you know, I catch some heat for doing that, or, you know, what if my lyrics can be misconstrued and taken out of context? I'm sitting there going, you know what, man, I don't, does it really matter? Jesus was perfect and they hated him. So
exactly.
I mean, dude, you should see the amount of hate that I get, man. Oh my gosh, especially on TikTok, and because it's the young people's platform, right? Like, who is this old guy, and why is he wearing eyeliner, and like, you know, why does he have long hair, or whatever, man? You know, they'll just take shots at me all the time, and oddly enough, man, because if you haven't caught any of my TikTok live shows,
I haven't, but I'm gonna watch some.
I'm here in my studio, and I have a professional microphone, and I'm actually singing through Pro Tools. I'm using Pro Tools as a mixer, right?
Nice.
And I feed the audio back into my iPhone when I'm live, so it's really, really good quality audio. So the flip side to that is he's lip syncing, nice lip syncing, and I'm like, dude, I could even say their name in the microphone, and they still say I'm like. So it's like it's this weird dichotomy, really, because I'm an older guy, I'm singing rock music, and when I'm on there, the quality's really good because that's what I do. I'm a sound engineer, right? And I do it for a church full time every week. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, me too, bro. Believe it or not,
I know how to make it sound good, bro.
Yeah,
So it's like you're on an app that's made for dancing and lip syncing, but you're actually performing with some level of talent, whether it's me or anyone else, right? Then you just get hated on because people don't understand what they're looking at.
What is this?
Yeah.
But the Gen Xers, they know what's up, man. They got my back. But it's all the young people that will come in and give you smoke, and just,
oh yeah. I hear you, man. And it's sad because you know what? Again, I hate even going this political route, but you look at young people that really have no clue. They've not really done any research into anything. And you tell them this cup is orange, so you should vote for this cup. Okay, I'll do it.
right.
Why? You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm going with that, but
dude, all you got to do, listen, to your point, all you have to do is look at someone in that generation, not all of them, but most of them. You can say the news isn't real, and they think you're crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, it's scripted television. And
right.
Like, it to my point as well, when I'm on TikTok and I sing and I talk and I engage and all that stuff, they're like, oh my God, why don't you go on American Idol? And I'm like, it's not real. Like,
oh my gosh.
These people think it's a real competition and they think that talent wins the competition. No, it doesn't. It matters not. It's
yeah, man.
TV, bro. And you try to tell these people that are plugged in, if you unplug them, they malfunction.
You just pull it, but you must grab the handle.
And they don't know what to do.
Yeah, dude. We know somebody higher up that's like that right now. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did I? Is it wrong for me to say that? What about Amy? Is she a big supporter of everything you do?
My wife?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, she's my number one fan.
Yeah. You guys been together, wild, what, 20, 25 years or something like that?
We've been married 20 years, man.
20 years.
This past June, and she's still got a crush on me, dude. It's crazy. I never
awesome.
Imagined it. I love
That's
it. That's
awesome. Yeah, bro. I'm 35 years with my wife, with Trissy, and I love it, dude. Just like you, man. It's like I always say that's my girl, man, because that's how I feel about her, and it's evident when people see her and I together, and
yeah,
she totally supports me so much. And whenever she can, she'll go on the road with me and she'll keep me straight sometimes, and sometimes tell me to take my Triactin. Do you know how that even started? Larry Worley called me one day and I was on my way to work and I was really tired, man. I was like, golly, man, I'm tired, but I'm going to go to work and this and that. And he goes, you all right, man? I'm like, well, yeah, just kind of really tired and this and that. And he goes, did you take your Triactin today? I'm like, what the heck is that? He goes, Triactin like a man.
I'm so going to use that now. Thanks.
Dude, so I use that so much on my podcast. I have people, when I really meet them, they're like, dude, I love your podcast, except for one thing. My wife's asking me if I'm taking my Triactin. So we just played a show in Ohio at the same building, Immortal Fest. And one of our guys, man, Michael King, he came up to me with a box and he goes, dude, I have a gift for all you guys in the band. And we opened them up and it was these cups.
That's
Triactin.
So cool, man.
He had them made, man, and gave them to us. And it's great, dude. People give me cigars because people know I'm a cigar guy. But the most thing that I get is a lot of hot stuff because everybody knows I love hot stuff. I have a guy, Barry, that gave me the world's hottest gummy. And he's got one. And he said, we need to eat them live on your podcast together.
I'll watch it, but I ain't eating it,
dude. Well, I'm afraid to do it because I can eat hot. But I've been watching some videos of people who eat those. I don't know if I'll do it, but I don't know if I want to do it live. I don't know if I want to expose myself like that.
You might as well get some views out of it. If you
dude, we're talking runny eyes, runny nose. We're talking. Yeah, I might get some views out of it, but if I survive.
Listen, man, all the only advice I could tell you is take a tray of ice cubes with you to the restroom when you go because you're going to need it.
Ow! My biscuits are burning! Eat green hornetoads, that's smarts!
I did that stupid thing once, man. I ate it. Man. It was one of them, hot chicken wings, as hot as you can eat them or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Went out and we were teenagers, stupid teens, and I ate these hot wings. I just remember, dude, sweating and just my legs were shaking and my hands were shaking. And I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm here to tell you, man, it burns at both ends.
It's called machismo. Guys will do stuff to, be guys, to be that guy,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
This
man.
is too much testosterone, not enough common sense.
I'm telling you, right? I'm telling you. Does Amy ever go on the road with you or no?
Yeah, for the most part she does. She doesn't go to every show because she's she's got a corporate job and stuff like that. And sometimes she can't. And she just doesn't line up or whatever. But yeah, she's my permanent merch girl right now. So
really,
yeah, she doesn't go. I'm in a heap of trouble because there ain't nothing worse than me trying to figure out how to run that merch table, dude. I suck at it. Like all I want to do is hug people and take pictures But she wants me to swipe credit cards and punch in numbers. I'm like, nah, man, I don't.
Yeah, no, not happening, right?
Nope.
That's why we got a merch guy to do that. Because, I can't even.
Man, I tell you what, brother, I don't know, for whatever it's worth, I desperately need a front of house engineer and someone to help with the merch and stuff like that. Man, like some sort of tour management. I've not been able to find that person yet. So that's my next person on my list. If you know anybody in Ohio.
We'll talk after the show.
Yeah, man.
I'll hook you up, man. Yeah,
right.
For sure. Yeah, it's tough, man. Trying to be the band, the writer, the producer, promoter, your own sound guy, your own merch. It's tough, man. You got to have a group of people that take responsibility for certain things. Steve Watkins, our bass player, he runs sound at the BMI Event Center for every band. On top of that, he was managing us, and he was doing our merch, and he was taking all the phone calls. And he was scheduling this. And finally, Bruce and I said, Steve, listen, we'll take this, we'll take that, we'll take that. And you just focus on that. And that really, it made a big difference in every sense. It lightened his load and it allowed us to take on some of the burden and do some of the things. And kind of, if you expand with the group of people you have, like I said, and give everybody responsibility, it works so much better than one guy trying to do everything. Because
definitely,
Steve's the kind of guy, he will give you the shirt off his back and his shoes, and he'll never complain about it. His feet will be hurting and his back will be burning, and he won't say a word about it.
Yeah,
he's just a great dude, man. Yeah, heck yeah, man.
I would say the worst responsibility, the worst role in the entire thing is being a booking agent. I hate it with everything in me, and I can't stand booking myself, man, because I'm sensitive, number one, and that's my music you're talking about. And so when you say you're not interested, it's not something you want to hear, man. I don't know what your experience is with ever booking your band at all, but man, people are not very nice about it. You know what I mean? Especially promoters. Promoters can be some of the worst people in the industry, man. And you run into these people. It's all about money to them, right? And so all they care about is how famous are you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They don't care how good your money is, how hard you worked, or
man.
Your product. They just want to know how many tickets could you sell. And it's so tough for me because I'm at that level where I haven't played all these markets yet, man. Not as a headliner. And it's like, well, how many tickets can you sell in Tucson, Arizona? And I'm like, I don't know. I've never played in Tucson, Arizona.
3.
I could sell 15, whatever. And why would somebody book you for 15 tickets?
Yeah, so man.
It's that weird position to be in, and
it is.
And who the heck can afford to buy onto a tour anymore? I mean, unless you're a millionaire.
No, man. The old pay to play thing, man.
Yeah, there's always that option, but it's expensive.
Yeah, but it's like I have this saying: "Is the juice worth the squeeze?" You burn out on it, you pay, you do this, you do that, then you go do a show and everybody's there to see the other band, and they liked your band, but you know what I'm saying? It's one of those kind of things.
You're singing my tune right now, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What about hobbies? You got any hobbies you do when I already know you're not working, like you said, your music is your life, but do you have any hobbies outside of music?
I like to work on things, motorcycles, cars, and things like that, but not so much these days. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm just getting older or whatever, man, but it hurts. It really hurts to, crawl up under a car, up under a hood or whatever. I just put struts and axles and shocks all around on my van. And oh my God, dude, my shoulders are killing me. I'm like, this actually hurts, man. I need some ibuprofen. Like, so I don't know, man. I work on things, but I find myself being completely consumed by my artistry right now, and it's all aspects of it. So, you know, I get up and I pick my battles, and then you know, it's follow-ups, emails. I got to call my marketing person just about every day. We have to have an open line of communication. You know, okay, well, here's 2 different commercials for this show. Make sure you do, you know, a YouTube ad and a Google ad, and make sure you contact this radio station. And, you know, and it's always that every morning and following up. Hey, did you hear anything about the, you know, the press release? Where are we at with that? And then, you know, then it's on the phone with a publicist. Hey, you know, what angle do we have for this new release? And it's just all of that, right? Every morning. And that's usually, and then I jump on TikTok, and I'm on TikTok from normally about 7:30 a.m. to about 10:30 a.m. I'm usually live on TikTok, and that's my show. And that's where, you know, I introduce people to my music, and we hang out, and then I have my coffee and stuff, and I will always warm up my vocals and sing a handful of songs, and then I go on about my day, and then it's off to the bank. It's off to the post office. You know, it's the honey-do list. Don't forget to go to the grocery, or, hey, don't forget to go to Sam's. We need more envelopes or whatever, you know, to mail out your T-shirts and so, you know, if I'm going to do anything at all, it's like, you know, right when she gets off work, or like, okay, we got like an hour. What are we going to do? You know, maybe go out to eat sometimes, if we can afford to, because that's getting expensive. Or go
it's getting expensive to buy groceries too. I mean, what's the difference, right?
It's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. It's insane. And it just,
you got a large following on TikTok. Is it Instagram or TikTok? You said
TikTok. Yeah, I have 120,000.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm up to 200,000 on Facebook, but ever since Meta took over on Facebook, man, it completely changed the landscape of how to. I hate to say this, but Facebook is almost irrelevant to me now, because it's useless.
Yeah, all the algorithms, they really control how many people you can reach unless you buy time or whatever. And
correct. Yeah, you have to pay for your posts, and the majority of people still don't even know that.
Yeah.
You know, I had somebody just the other day say, man, I haven't seen you on Facebook in forever. I was like, I'm on there every day. You just don't see it. Like, I make it some sort of post of some kind every day.
Really?
Whether it's a story or a post or a video or a reel or whatever, there's something every day, but people just don't see it. And then, you know, creating a Facebook event for your concert and inviting people, forget about it, dude. It's extinct. It doesn't even work anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. No matter how hard you try, you always being controlled by someone, right?
Yep.
And I think ultimately what I'm hearing is, and what I've heard from several people, is that the only way to really semi begin to be successful at that, TikTok or Instagram or whatever, is to be posting stuff constantly. Yeah. You know, and like for me, I try to post a podcast once a week, but in that week, in that one podcast, you got to tell yourself, I probably spend 2.5, 3 hours doing research, getting together what I'm going to say, because I don't say the same things to everybody. You know, like I told you earlier, I'm not how'd you get started? What was, you know, I asked the certain questions, but again, I like to have a conversation, which is what we've been doing. And I love that, you know, because it's, if you watch podcasts about musicians over and over, different musicians, and it's always the same content, it's kind of like you singing the same song over and over and over. It's going to get boring. So you try to change it up, and you try to reach different people and do different things. And I think for as short of a time as I've been doing it, I think it's going well. And I thank everyone who's part of it and supports me. And I just really enjoy it, and I do what I do, you know. And I think it's important that you do what you do. I've had people say, dude, I love your podcast, but I don't like all the little funny clips you put in there, because this is, you know, I record it and then I throw clips in there and then just edit it and this and that. And then, but that's how I want to do my podcast. And I hope that I'm reaching more people with it. But the thing about me is I try to stay as genuine as possible. You know, and I think that's what we all need to be is be genuine.
Yep.
You know, either people are going to love it or they're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So don't try to please everyone or you'll be miserable.
There you go, man. There you go. Any closing words to anyone watching this? Maybe people who maybe doesn't know who you are, or you want them to get to know you or support you more, or talk about music or family or whatever. Anything you want to say?
You know, just give my music a chance. I know I may not be famous, but you know, I didn't start doing this to be famous. So like, if it happens, it happens. That's fine. I'll deal with it. But I'm here to make music. So if you like hard rock music and you like bands that I love, which is Disturbed and Shinedown, Alice in Chains, Queensryche, etc., if you like all that stuff, I'm very inspired by their music. So there's a good chance you might like my music. So
that's all right. Amen. Amen. Hey, so guys, again, thanks for joining us here today. We had a good conversation. Hopefully you got to know Mick and just know his heart and maybe spark a little interest in his music and his style, and give it a listen, guys. It's great stuff, and you won't be disappointed.
let me turn my shirt inside out. It says big dicks on it, but it ain't what you think.
No, I know what that is. Hamburgers.
Oh my.
That was silly.
You see that? See what that says?
Pterodactyl?
Triactin.
Triactin.
You know what that is?
No,
Is
Triactin.
Triactin like a man.
Oh.
Yeah. We also have Grow-A-Set, which is right on the shelf right next to Triactin.